Kia ora, everybody. This is awesome. Catching up with another Southland Invercargill man, Jim Cawthorn. It's good to bring professionals onto the podcast, people that have a voice for radio. Currently, his face is really taking it to the next level in the face for radio. What did you do on the weekend, Jim?
Yeah. Well, look, this isn't a weekend situation. This has been in the making. Look, my nose is buggered, right? So I have trouble breathing through it. I snore. My wife, she suffers from my snoring from it. And so basically on Thursday morning, they cleared it all out and they straightened it up. And it's currently, it's dripping a bit of stuff. And as I said to you before we started this, it's a bad time to have a moustache because it's covered in blood and snot at the moment. It's not very pretty, but that's okay. I've got this here to block anything if it keeps on leaking.
Nice. I was out hunting yesterday, and I was trying to bring up my inner Adam Green tree and videoed a little bit of it. And I don't know if you can tell on this, but my snoz is severely to the left.
I was just going to say, because, I mean, how long have we known each other, Ryan? I mean, of course I've known you from high school and that, but I don't remember it being that way bent. So is that from rugby, is it?
Well, there's a certain gentleman, I don't know if you remember him, John S. Swain. He took a disliking to me in a water polo match, social, of course, one day, and decided to knee me in the face. But I got that dealt too in my final year of school. So, yeah, that was when it was sort of the last year of school. So you would have been gone by then.
I know John O'Swain. I know that name anyway, yeah.
and so I had a similar procedure as what you had, which, I feel for you right now because it wasn't pleasant. But, then again, playing social rugby, don't do it. I got asked to play some social rugby the other day and I said, no thanks. For one, with the wee child, I've given up the boots. And two, you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
How did you end up with a busted nose, Jim?
Well, originally, actually, it was basically I was in town and I had a few too many beers and I got lippy to someone, and then they punched me. Age-old story, but I've always had sort of nose problems. I'm one of those little nerds that has to have the wee sniffer, the wee sinus rinse and all that sort of stuff. And I think just over the years, it's just bloody got worse and worse. Now that he reckons he's straightened it, I sort of look at it and think doesn't look that much difference to me, but it's all right. He's done his job. It's bloody sore at the moment. Shit, it's sore. I've got a wee one as well who I was trying to put her down just before, and she accidentally just bopped it. So it's sort of it's really quite sore. It was leaking quite a bit before actually as well. So, but anyway.
Don't cry, don't show fear. We've got to keep calm for this bedtime routine to go well.
Exactly. Never mind.
No, so I was thinking back when was about the last time I saw you, and it was probably a production after party. You were leading the crew in a song called The Nunsuch. You were some sort of character in Big River, mate. Did you have to do some form twice to do that? I couldn't quite work it out.
I did. I stayed back and did 8th form. Right? It was a waste of bloody time, but there was a few of us that stayed back for 8th form. There's about 3 or 4 of us. Yeah. And my main reason to do so was because I wanted to go to broadcasting school in Christchurch, and so I needed 7th form English. That was one criteria I had to have. And in my 7th form year, I'd repeated English. I had to do 6th form. So then I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to it's just one more year. I'll just go out of my way. All I've got to do is just think about 7th form English and go for gold. And you know what happened? I didn't even get 7th form English. I missed out by 1 credit.
Oh, shit. And so
but,
how did you...
Hang on a minute, actually. Hang on a minute. That's a lie. I did get 7th form English, but I didn't pass NCA level 3 by 1 credit. But I did get 7th form English. But then I think it's because of that I didn't even get into Christchurch Broadcasting School. So that's why I was a waste of time. But I went to Dunedin in the end. I ended up going to Dunedin, and I studied radio there for 2 years instead, which was great. But, Dunedin lifestyle is not really a healthy one, I spent a lot of time just pissing up and smoking a lot of weed. And but, hey, it got me into radio now anyway, I guess. That's just through my own perseverance later on in life. But, yeah.
Mate,
good times.
And you said your voice has got you in trouble, thus the nose surgery. But not many people will know that your voice actually was a absolute skill as a youngster at high school, and you won a few national championships using your voice. Tell us
I did too.
about your time being the person who doesn't do the exercise but still has to get up at bloody 5 a.m. to go sit and freeze his ass off for any other people. What how did you get
Well, I
convinced
tell
of
you
this,
what,
first of all? I think it was my brother somehow.
it was, yeah. First of all, I've got 2 gold medals for sitting on my ass. How good is that? But I was a coxswain, of course, a coxswain for rowing, for Waihopai Rowing Club. I mean, that's where I met you, of course. And, you know, your old man, John, was the coach as well. Your brother was, he was in the fall with, was it Neil McDonald? Yeah, Neil McDonald, Sam Renton, and Logan Flowers.
That's the one.
And I was a coxswain. And usually the coxswain's job is to we got to steer the boat, of course. You got the string on each side. I used to get confused because you pull the string that way, and you end up going this way, wouldn't you? It'd be the opposite, you know. You think you're pulling the string this way, and you think you're going to go that way, but you actually go this way. It's pretty confusing. But but basically the cox's job, of course, is to be like, you know, you're encouraging the 10 on, and you do like the half, 3/4, 4, and then you're encouraging the rowers to, you know, push hard when they need to and let them know where they're sitting in the race and that. But I remember your brother and the rest of the guys, they were just like, because I was a bit younger than them, they were just like, Jim, just shut the fuck up. It's annoying. How about you just steer the boat and we'll just do all the work? And I was like, yeah, sweet. And so I, 2 gold medals just sitting on my ass and steering a boat. It was easy peasy. That was my sport at the time. But then I remember as well, because you had to be under a certain weight, and I think it was under 50 kgs to be a coxswain.
Yeah,
was that right? Yeah,
maybe even 55.
Yeah, there was 50, under 55. But I remember I did it because I was a coxswain for the girls' team.
Yeah.
And then I started putting on a bit of weight. I started going to the fish and chip shop after school and eating too many ice creams. And one day they were doing, it was leading up to Mardi, and they're doing a fundraiser, giving away ice creams at school. And I rock up going, oh, do you girls need a hand? They're like, oh, nah, we've got a new coxswain now because you put on too much weight.
Oh, shit.
And that was my rowing career done because I got too fat. Well, hey, I still got 2 gold medals, and that's the main thing. What are you drinking there? That looks quite nice.
Yeah, I've got the in-laws staying, so that's why I managed to sneak away and do a podcast. But
beautiful.
Actually, today we did go down the road to Black Barn and did a wee tasting, and then her dad's into wine, so he's opened a bottle of something. I don't even know what it is, but it's tasty.
That's rare. Where are you based? Where are you at the moment?
So we've done the big round the world, not quite. We went as far as Ballina in Australia for a year and realised that with the 3-month-old, that's probably not the wisest decision. But hey, you live and learn. And so now we're back to New Zealand and we're in Hawke's Bay. So, you know, it's
nice.
It's got that frosty feeling, a bit like home, and I'm sure it's not quite like home, but it's been good, and like I said, managed to go for a wander around the bush yesterday and not get lost, and spook a couple of deer, so that was good fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's Stag Vision, of course. So your podcast, Stag Vision, is this about just being out in the wilderness hunting and just looking after yourself properly and just eating the shit out of stag? Is that's the vibe I'm getting from this podcast? Is that right?
Mate, that'd be an ideal world of eating the shit out of stag, but no, it's it's there is that element to it. Like I've had a few engineers and health professionals on, and I've sort of tried to highlight the hypocrisy of public health as a system-based idea, and it's a little bit about stuff. But then, mate, there's plenty of people our age out there just giving it their all and trying to do some stuff that's meaningful. And a few mates got germs, and another bloke in the Waikato, he's doing a non-for-profit helping young kids play sport and stuff like that. And another guy's doing resistance bands, circuit band. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Getting on lists with Alibaba and Amazon and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just a good way to chew the fat, and if you get to talk to some interesting people at the same time, it's pretty cool. It's pretty loose. Just follow who I'm interested in. So how does the fucked up files come about?
Well, just firstly, very quickly, I just want to say, because what's your Instagram handle? Because I tell you, there's some great motivational stuff I read on your Instagram as well that I go through. I'm like, fuck, okay, Ryan's on to it. He knows what he's doing. The Fuck Up Files is completely the opposite. Basically, the podcast is about my stories and other people's stories about fucking up. And unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately for me, for this podcast, I've got a massive library full of stories, you know, whole bunch of screw-ups, you know, from when I was bloody, you know, little kid to high school years, there's a shitload, even to when I was trying to court the missus, you know, there's a whole, even like recently I'm making screw-ups. And I guess, so it begins, there's me, then we've got producer Ryan, of course, also who works with me at the Rock radio station. He's the producer for the Morning Rumble. And then there's a guest. We get a guest on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I share a story. And then we hear from the listener. That's the other great thing about the podcast. We can get a listener on to share a story, and then we hear from a guest and they share their story. But I guess one way you can look at it is a bit of, well, I like to see it as a bit of therapy for people, because I think a lot of people out there, they do dwell on their muck-ups or their mistakes, their fuck-ups. They dwell on their problem. And I'm one of these people. You dwell on your mistakes too much, you know what I mean? But really, you just got to stand back and just laugh at it, because we're all human. We'll fuck up. That's just part of life. So I think when you hear these sort of stories, you think, you can go, well, can't be that bad. Listen to what Jim's been up to, rah-de-rah-de-rah. Or listen to rah-de-rah story that he's gone this week. You know, it can't all be that bad. And some of the stories, I will admit, some of the stories that are coming through, a lot of drunken mistakes. But you are getting, like, we've got one, it's actually out this Thursday with Angela Draven, and she's a comedian. And her story, I don't think she's really told the story, but it's basically because she did some prison time over in the UK at a very young age. And just her, I guess her perception of being in a woman's prison at a young age is really interesting. So we've just based the whole episode just on that. You know what I mean? There's none of my stories or anything like that. It's just there's some interesting stuff that we're pulling from people, or even stories that you wouldn't expect to hear from people. So yeah, like I said, I look at it as a bit of therapy for those that dwell on their issues too much, but also it's just a way to take the piss and have a laugh at ourselves, you know?
Nice, mate. I think it was one of you guys interns or something the other day. Jay put up a photo of, I don't know, you guys were giving away a prize to Queenstown or something. And this young fella's from Southern Boys High, and he put up a photo of, I don't know, the trip was to Nelson, and he put up a photo of Queenstown. I had to send a message at your expense though, mate, and you've justified it with how you started there. I said, I hope Jim Cawthorn's giving him a good time about a Southern Boys High education, but not that a James Hargis education did him much good, and you validated at the start there.
Yeah.
Mate, I feel like there's an over-representation of thick R's in radio land. You know, what do you think it is about Southlanders and wanting to get their voice out there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of people from Invercargill that are working in you know, in media works where I'm at. There's a shitload of us actually. I don't know. I think as we are with people from Southland, we are characters. We, you know, when we talk a bit different, we bloody roll our R's, and we just sort of come across like we bloody. I mean, I'm a townie, but I've had a lot of people say to me, "You must be from the bush," but it's like, fuck, I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't even know how to go hunting. I wouldn't know how to. I'm a useless fisherman, you know. I'm just a bizarre character. And I remember when I lived in Dunedin too, in a hall of residence, there was one bloke who just said, "Fuck, all the people from Southland are just the most funniest people I've ever met," and that's people from Gore and Invercargill, and they're just these small country bumpkins, you know. They're just these small towners, and they just got their own small town away. I guess that's the thing too. We're so shallow down because we're from small towns, and then we come out to the big wide world. We're just like a fish out of water. We're just like, fuck me, what the hell's going on here? But we just take it on at our own stride, you know. And I think that's kind of it. And I think a lot of people can relate to that too, you know, sort of. You know, like hearing from those that are just sort of, you know, it's like listening to the underdog. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing that's definitely won me over when I started at the Rock. I mean, I was only just there just to fill in because I was just a part timer. You know, I think it was Tracy Donaldson. She left to go to the Sound, and so I just came just to fill in. And then people started going, "Who the hell's this? Who's this prick you got on the radio? He's actually quite funny. He's, you know, I don't know what he's on about, but he's good banter to listen to." And so the boss is like, "Well, we might as well just keep him on." And so and I'm just stuck, and here I am still. So yeah, I don't know. I think that I would say that's probably it. You get a lot of I mean, I don't think there are too many egotistical people in radio. Actually, you know, there's a few, of course, but I think sort of hearing from those that are just fresh cut and just like the everyday man, it just makes it for an easier, I don't know, just easy to get around. It's easy to sort of get along with, or even associate with, or understand, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, mentioned that name, Tracy Donaldson. It must have been. I was either driving back to Invercargill to go work at the smelter, or I was going back for a sevens training in Southland, and sure enough, this Thakar was on the radio, and I was like, "What's up with this bloke? He must be from Southland." And I listened a bit more, and I was like,
Yeah.
"That voice is really familiar." And then sure enough, it's Jim here, and I was like, "Oh no shit!"
Jim Cawthorn,
Jim
yeah.
Cawthorn, here he
Yeah.
is. And yeah,
Well,
it must have been work, because I went back to Wanaka and said, "You never guess who I heard on the radio just then." It was James Cawthorn, and then mum and dad were pretty stoked, and even mum was up at the start of last week, and I said, "You'll never guess who I'm going to talk to next week on my podcast, James Cawthorn."
yeah.
Oh, you're brilliant.
Oh, God. Is your mum and dad still down in Invercargill, Tara?
No, so with the old man has graduated as rowing coaching from James Hargis and Waihopai. So he's based in Christchurch for 6 months of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a wee audience now. Alex is coming.
Oh, nice. G'day.
Yeah, so they're in Christchurch sort of 6 months of the year, and then they're in Cambridge. Oh, that must be longer than 6 months, but Cambridge for sort of 3 or 4 months, and then they've either about to or have just left to go to Florida for the regatta that they're going to. So Dad's with under 23s, and then they'll do a trip. So often it's Europe, and yeah, so they've mum sort of has come and visit over from Cambridge. But yeah, she's quite stoked on some of your ads that you're putting out there, Jim. How do you dabble in advertising? Obviously your voice is good, but that character comes back into it when you're on the telly doing ads. What's that like, mate?
Well, I guess, I mean, I've always done a bit of acting, like with school productions and that sort of stuff, when I was at high school. Originally I actually moved to Auckland. This is going to sound real arrogant. I moved to Auckland and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to get famous and I'm going to be a famous actor. But do you know what? Do you know how many other people have that idea in their head? That there's a shitload. So I think when I first got there, I tried to make it as an actor. I actually studied film and television as well, another waste of a degree. And then I soon realised you can't do this full time because there's no such thing as being a full time actor, and especially in New Zealand, unless hang on, sorry, what's that? Oh God, the wee ones. I've got a wee guest joining me. Hang on. Here we go. Say good day to Ryan.
G'day. How old is she, mate?
She is. How old are you? She's 4 months. She doesn't say too much. I've got the other one bloody getting upset that what Mrs. is going to sort her out. What was I saying? So yeah, I guess the acting stuff I soon realised it's part-time work. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I just do that for a bit of fun. And I have had an agent now for, when did I get my agent? 2010. So nearly 10 years. And it's only now that I'm really starting to find work is becoming more constant. And I think that helps. The more you get your face on TV and get recognised, and the casting director is going to be like, oh yeah, that guy, I remember that guy, he's funny, let's try him out, Like recently I've just landed a spot in a TV show, which is my first break into TV. It's a Netflix show as well, which is quite fancy. So this is a whole new level for me too, you see. But to tie, with the radio stuff, I guess. I mean, filming ads and stuff is only you're only doing it for, I don't know, 1 or 2 days,
Mm.
And so it's pretty easy to tie that in, in between. This TV show, however, is scattered. It's not a main role, so it's sort of, I guess it's a featured extra role, so it's quite scattered, throughout a whole bunch of days, so I can sort of work around it. But I'm gonna have to take some time off, I think, from my own job to do this. But the money's very good, so it sort of makes up for itself anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, it's a lot of fun. I love it. It's very, very repetitive job though when you're working on set because the littlest thing can stuff up, and then it's like, cut, right, we have to do that again. It's fuck. Famous last words. One more take. We'll just go for one more. When that's a crock of shit. Like, no, you're not going to go for one more. There's 5 takes later. We'll just go for one more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I met some cool people as well. There's some great people. In the TV scene, actors as well, hilarious people. I think. Oh, that's right. And I think too, as long as I think for me, because I love to ad lib. You know what I mean? To just go off the cuff and just go for gold. And I think a lot of directors sort of, I think comedy in this country sort of starting to get is quite like that now. They just sort of they just let people just go for gold. It's not scripted anymore, you know. It's just a lot of it's all just ad libs. So that's where you get the comedy gold as well, you know.
Yeah, I think
So,
the 7 days has been pushing that boundary for a long time now, and it's finally probably starting to
yeah.
stick. And then now with the project, it's taken it another step up. And I see the guy I used to play rugby with at Otago, Tony Lyle. He's been a roving
Oh yeah.
comedic reporter for the project. Doing
Oh,
well.
Tony used to work with us as well. Actually, he's a
Yeah.
good man. He's a very funny guy. Yeah. So he's done well, and he's in the same boat. Like he did a lot of radio stuff, and now he's a reporter, of course, for Project. But he's also does acting as well, and he's a comedian. So he's bloody he's ticking all the boxes at the moment. But it's a hard road getting to there because I mean, for years when I moved up here 2009, so 10 years now, and it's only within the last 4 or 5 years, I've got to where I want to be. So it's a hard road getting into the entertainment game. You've really just got to persevere, do a lot for shit money, and then finally you start getting somewhere. And I think I'm only just starting to get somewhere now, you know. I mean, I was doing working from, bar to bar, just doing bar work and just so I can keep doing the acting stuff. And also even I was doing radio part-time, so then I was doing I was working with the New Zealand Wine Society at one point, selling wine over the phone. I don't fucking know anything about wine. And it didn't last long there because I didn't have a clue what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too. I guess I've just persevered and just been very patient with it, you know. So now I've finally sort of got to where I am and I'm feeling pretty good. But then the other thing too is you don't want to get too comfortable because the entertainment game, you could be in one day and then the next you could be out. So before I know it, there could be another bloke that comes up and who's I guess similar to me, but he's 10 times better, and that's me done.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of a stressful career when you think about it, but as long as you go into it pretty chilled, you'll be right, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess you guys, they've just happened there's a questionnaire or survey results, and then the awards.
Yeah, survey,
And then it
then
comes
there
around
are awards
again.
as well. That's right. Lost out to John on Ben again this year, but that's okay. I'm not bitter.
They're same network as they, right? They've gone from Rock to
Yeah,
ZM.
we're all under the
Rock to
Edge. Yeah,
Edge.
we're all under the same umbrella of MediaWorks. So essentially, they just moved next door, actually. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Mate,
pretty much how it goes.
Keeping on the sort of advertising and acting work, is it that ads and stuff are sort of quite small? Because I think I either heard your voice or so. Are you doing like an easy bet or something like that in Australia? A voice?
Oh, sports bet. Yeah. Yeah, so I filmed another one over there. So I mean, I guess I've been quite lucky because I've got an ad that's playing like 24/7 over in Australia at the moment, and it doesn't affect any work over here. So, because one thing I find, if you're on an ad 24/7, in fact, if I'm on TV at the moment doing an ad, it's probably the chance of me getting any other advertisement work is going to be quite slim.
Yeah.
But this one over in Australia, sports bet, which is on 24/7, it's played over in Australia, so it's not going to clash with. I'm not going to get any stuck with any work over here. But that was a good week gig. So that was. I got a free trip to Melbourne for that and everything all paid for, and just I've never been to Melbourne before. Just got to see the sights and film an ad and come back home.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty funny hearing your voice over in Australia.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, bloody taking over Australasia. You can't get away from me. I'm sorry.
Mate, so what's it like working with experienced campaigner like Jay Reeve? Like obviously when Bryce was doing his Bowlerama, he had you up on a no arms burpee. What's it like working with such a unit?
Well, Jay, oh Christ, he's so bloody disciplined, Jay Reeve. It makes me look stupid, and I guess as well, he's I guess, I mean, he makes you realise that you are quite a slob because he's on such a strict diet. You know what I mean? He looks after his body. He treats his body like a temple, and he's the most chilled out dude I've ever met. He's like a bloody mantra, just the shit that comes out of his mouth. You're just like, geez, you're a deep thinker, you know what I mean? And the way he says it, he's an amazing person, actually. Because, of course, before we had Jay, we had Thane Kirby in the role. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Thane Kirby. He's a funny man, but he's the laziest motherfucker I've ever met. The guy's going to have a heart attack in a few years, I promise. Just the way he eats and treats his body, and then you all of a sudden you get Jay come along, and Jay's just like a fresh breath of air. He's just so positive, and he's just boosting him around the office. And I guess there are times I'm just like, shit, I need to be. You sort of aspire to want to be a bit like Jay, Like at the moment, I guess too because of surgery. But I've thought, you know what, I'm going to tonk alcohol for 3 months. I've decided, and I can be a bit of a heavy drinker. I won't lie to you, Ryan. I like my piss. I do. I won't lie to you. But it does hold me back a bit. And I sort of talked to Jay, and he said, just tonk alcohol. Give it a go for 3 months. So it's been, what is it now? It'd be coming up. It's just gone 2 weeks. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol for 2 weeks. This is the longest I've done in a while. And I tell you, and actually talking to Jay, and even he's just going, you're looking a lot slimmer in the face. You'll be thinking a lot clearer now. How you feeling mentally? And I'm like, I'm actually feeling a lot more positive about myself. You know what I mean? And I guess I haven't weighed myself, but I guess I looked at myself. I am looking quite slim. And so he's checking it on a lot. And I guess just hearing from him, it just makes me want to keep on going. You know what I mean? So he's a good person to have in your life, I think, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, very, very good positive. It's good positive energy. That's just the kind of person you need,
Yeah. And I see he's managed to get Rog and Muzza into the ice bath with Nigel Beach. How keen are you on that?
Yeah. Well, I was actually, because they had a session over the weekend on Sunday, so I was keen to give it a go. But of course, I just had the surgery, so he said, it's probably not a good idea. But have you ever done that before, the ice bath?
Yeah, mate. I did it when I was over it was sort of a week and a half before we took off from Australia. One of the guys that I have sort of known for a while over there and had on the podcast before, Mark Clue, he sort of said, I'll come up to the Gold Coast, we're having a session. And to be fair, like the ice bath part was good and exciting, and I do cold showers and after sports and stuff. I'd done the odd ice bath after a game and things. But the thing that blew me away was the sort of controlled breath work. I don't know too much about psychedelic drugs, but mate, I definitely had some endogenous DMT going off. I was seeing all sorts of colours and getting taken really interesting places. And I also blacked out at one point, and thankfully Mark spotted me and was still standing over me. And this guy's got a big ass beard and really powerful looking bloke. And I was getting a few visions and stuff. So that was the thing that blew me away. I think I was lucky in that I looked at Wim Hof for a while and listened to him a few times. And the day before, I'd listened to him talk to Russell Brand, who's a trippy dude as well. So that they sort of took that path in their conversations. I guess that was in my head that you could, if you stick with the breathing, you can get there.
Yeah, because I know Jay's he's trying to explain to me about the breathing technique you do beforehand. He's like, you've got to do this or else your body's going to go into shock and go into hypothermia. And you're like, Jesus Christ, okay. I mean, I'm very keen to give it a go. I don't know how, because how long are you in the bath for itself? You're only in there for like a minute, aren't you, or 2 minutes?
2 minutes. We did 3. Yeah, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the way he said it's like going Control Alt Delete on your body and just resetting itself, and then you'll feel like, he said, you'll feel like $1 million. It's probably something you need to do. So the next one that they do in Auckland, I'm gonna give it a crack, but I'm a little bit nervous. But fuck it, why not? Yeah, I need to start doing things like this for my body. Bloody put it back into, like I said, reset it basically.
Yeah, longevity gym.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I spent all my years of my 20s abusing it with bloody drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, and all sorts of bloody horrible shit, bad food. And now that I've become a father, 2 young girls, I'm a family man now. I've got to slow down, and I guess as well as you want to stick around. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do as much as I can to bloody have a better, healthier lifestyle, I guess. But I've probably got a wee way to go here, looking at my belly, but that's okay. I'll get there.
Yeah, and I suppose the radio environment's it's got all its vices pretty handy.
Yeah, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. No, I'd say it's from what I hear, I hear it's a lot more tamer now than it used to be, and I do believe that actually. But yeah, it is a very sociable environment to be in. You know what I mean? There's always big nights, and stuff that they're doing, and the thing is too. I mean, I worked in hospitality for years, so I mean, I've always been surrounded by that sort of environment. So it's but then it does. You do get to a point where you're just like, oh, this is just getting bloody same old, and the crowds are getting younger and younger, and you think, oh fuck, there's no, I can't keep doing this anymore. It's just hard. But then at the same time, it is also, if you want to network, and get yourself matey with the big people, that's where you need to be as well.
Yeah. And so, how do you feel that move to Auckland sort of was it the city of lights, or it's taken you 10 years?
Well, yeah, it has actually. But I tell you, I adjusted to Auckland pretty easily. Like, this is definitely home for me. I mean, me and Danielle and my wife, we have discussed it. Should we move? Because it's expensive up here. It's so expensive. But I don't know there's nowhere else I'd rather go, I mean, I guess Central Otago is a beautiful place to go to, but that's just as expensive. And I like to look at that as my home, as a holiday destination, or even heading back down to Invercargill. But I love Auckland. It's where everything happens. It suits, our lifestyle, well, apart from the expensive side of things, but it's, we've got a lot of friends up here. It's, Daniela's got a good job up here as well. She works as a nurse at Middlemore, and she's sort of quite well regarded within, her peers and her colleagues and that. And so I think to even leave, it's sort of, I don't know. Yeah. Originally I was only going to be here for a few months, and then I was going to go overseas. That was my plan. And then I thought, I may stick around and go study for a bit and just see what happens. And then 10 years later, here I am, 2 kids and married, and well, at least I got my own home, which is quite nice. Working in a job which is where I wanted to be, So I did get to where I want to be, but it just took a while, I guess. But it's definitely home. Auckland's definitely home for me, yeah.
Yeah, and from one Southlander to another, it's one of those things that, was probably blasphemy at one point in your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You think it's funny, like when I left, or even when I still say to people if I go down home, they're like, "Where are you based?" I say Auckland. They say, "Oh, sorry to hear that." But then up here, where are you from? I'm from Invercargill. Oh, sorry to hear that. Fuck, I can't win. I can't win at all. But no.
Yeah, luckily the lady today at the cellar door, she said, "Well, I'm from Gisborne," so she said, "Oh, that's same sort of environment, 2 degrees of everybody,
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, as well, I mean, half the people I know in Auckland, they're not originally from Auckland. You know what I mean? I look at the people in my office. There's only 2 people in our office that's originally from Auckland.
Yeah.
Everybody else is all from, they're not born and bred there. They're all from elsewhere, and that's even with a lot of our friends we know as well. Like, I probably only know like 1 or 2 people that in Auckland here. Oh, no, probably a few more than that. That are good friends of mine that are actually born and bred in Auckland. So everybody's bloody migrates here.
Yeah.
Just that the only problem is that too many people have migrated here. Now the bloody infrastructure can't handle it.
Yeah. So are you handy to the job, or you travel at hours that it doesn't matter?
What's that, sorry?
I said, are you handy to MediaWorks, or you travel at hours that it doesn't matter?
Oh, I travel in hours that don't matter. Hang on, I've just got myself bloody tangled up here in the wee one's hands. I travel at hours that don't really matter. Well, I mean, I guess I get to work by midday. The drive, because I'm part of the drive show there, so that's where I base a lot of my stuff around their show, 3 till 7. So I'm there 12 till 6, say. 6-hour days. It's pretty good, really. Unless I need to go in early to film something or go do whatever else. But mainly that's what I'm doing. But I live, because we own our own home. This is money thanks to inheritance. Shitty situation, but it got me a house. So we, owning a home in Auckland, you're going to live all the way out, either way out west or way out south. And we live way out south. So it takes me on the motorway to get to the city where my work is. If it's good traffic, and there is traffic, probably about an hour.
Gee, yeah.
Yeah, and or else I can get the train, and that's about an hour to Britomart, and then I've got to walk up to Ponsonby from there, so that's an hour and a half. I worked it out. It's $20 cheaper if I was to take the train a week than using my petrol.
Yeah. So
it's a pricey situation either or. But I don't mind taking the train as long as I've got my Netflix and I've got my bloody headphones into my phone. I'm happy, I guess. But it's quite a hike, yeah. So that again, that's where the whole expenses comes in, trying to get by living in the city. But you do it.
Yeah. And you're a twin. Where's Richie hang out now?
So my brother Richie, he is in Christchurch at the moment. He's a school teacher down there. It takes him 15 minutes to get to his work, I found out. And it's a lot cheaper. He's just, he seems to be happy down there. He's got a lovely girlfriend as well, and everything seems to be going pretty good for him. So, but that's the thing. I said to him, the only problem with his lifestyle is that he spent his whole life in a bloody classroom because he's, of course, went to school, then went to teachers college, back in a classroom. Now he's teacher. Now he's back. He's teaching in a classroom. So he spends all his days inside.
Yeah.
But no, he's been in Christchurch for quite a few years. He was there during the earthquakes as well, and was actually, when the big one hit, was teaching a science class and had all the Bunsen burners out.
Oh,
and one of the and he was just like going, he had to get all the kids out before he took off, and thought, fuck me, this bloody this class was going to blow up in a minute, and I've got to get these kids out. He said that's, but he said but yeah, I know from his point of view that was the most stressful situation he's ever been in. But yeah, he seems to be pretty. From what I hear, he's a very relaxed and chilled teacher, so he must be doing pretty well.
Yeah. And so did you were out of Christchurch before the earthquakes happened?
Yeah, I was in Auckland at the time, yeah. I was living in Auckland when that happened.
So CPIT is obviously in this heart smack bang in the middle of town. What's it like for you going back there and seeing what it looks like?
Well, no, well, that's the thing. I mean, I didn't, because I was going to, of course, I was aiming to go to broadcaster school, wasn't I, in Christchurch? Yeah. And that was based, I think, in the CTV building. And I do think, imagine if I end up going to Christchurch. Imagine if my path led me that I end up going to Christchurch. I did, worked at broadcaster school, and then I got a job in the CTV building, later in life. Imagine that before, and imagine if I was there when the earthquake hit. I could have been one of the many unfortunate tragedies. It does make you realise, but I don't. And I guess actually that was one of a moment that made me think, well, maybe I wasn't meant to do 8th form in high school and not go to Christchurch because of this. But yeah, I could have been in that situation possibly. I don't know, but yeah, that's one thing that dawns on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fantastic, mate. And you say sort of Auckland's home. What do you think growing up in Southland sort of brought you? What sort of something that you still find yourself have it or a lifestyle factor of being from down south you get today?
Oh shit, I don't know, mate. It's all. I'm still learning, I guess, Ryan. That's the thing. I'm still learning as I go up here, even nearly 10 years later. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, I mean, hey, it's always good to bring Daniela back down to Invercargill and let her show. Oh, actually, I'll tell you one thing that a lot of her side of the family appreciate that I've brought in from down home: cheese rolls.
The old Invercargill sushi.
Yeah, Southland sushi. They love it. Yeah, so that's one of my things I can. Hey,
do you have the secret Waihapo Rowing recipe as well?
No, if it wasn't it?
It's onion soup.
Wasn't it? It was, yeah, onion soup, Max. Yeah, and was it condensed? You did a bit of condensed milk in there as well, or no?
No, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I have to ask John. But yeah,
yeah,
you'll be a pro.
I'm sure there's onion soup mix, and I'm sure it's mixed up with a bit of condensed milk and cheese, and you spread that in. Yeah, but I've always thought, what if you bloody arty-farty it up? And I've done it a few times with a bit of pesto or something in there, you know what I mean? Or sun-dried tomatoes, and just be like, why have they never done this down home? And then people, and they're like going, oh, this is a new take on this. This is lovely. Jim's like, yeah, I'm just taking it that level. So there you go. You can put that on your. There you go. There's you see an added recipe to the southern sushi. Add a bit of pesto or sun-dried tomato, a Marmite. Make it like a mousetrap.
Yeah, I think that's what we used to do, because like you guys would make like thousands a dozen of cheese rolls, and we'd still have leftover mix, and yeah, the old man would just get out some white bread, chuck the cheese mix in it, put it in the oven, and then get butter out, and no, put some Marmite on top of that. Just when it's crispy, it's fantastic.
Exactly, yeah.
I do terrible things to my insides now, but as a youngster.
I'll tell you what, for a fundraiser, they bloody sell as a fundraiser. Somebody even one of them, you can rake in big dollars, eh? But one of the guys from down home, Sam, who works at MediaWorks as well. Sam Robertson is his name.
Oh,
he's
is
from
he
Invercargill.
Young fella from Boys High?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
works on the edge.
yeah, now I've come across him. He's a good fella.
He is very good man, very funny man. He brought on a whole bunch of sausage rolls, and holy shit, the building went ape shit. They're like, what the fuck is this? Is amazing. How have we never thought of this? And I'm like, are you serious? Because I've always grown up thinking that they're just a bit bloody. I won't lie to you, I'm not really a big fan of cheese rolls. I just think they're a little bit overrated. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good to dip into soup, but shit, people like just going about like they're the bee's knees, you know. And I thought, okay. And then that's when I was like, fuck, well, I'll tell you what, if you get me to make you some cheese rolls, I'll tell you a little bit of something extra you can add into that to make it 10 times better. But we didn't have any pesto that day, so I just left it.
No, fantastic, mate. What's the contrast between doing a long form? Are you syndicated with your podcast? Is that through MediaWorks, or is it just something you're
Yeah, through MediaWorks. Yeah, no, it's through MediaWorks. So, hang on, what was the question? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to get to the question. What's the difference between obviously a show you're playing music for a start, but having the show set up and then doing something like the podcast that you guys run?
Well, I guess it's been a whole new thing because we've just launched, MediaWorks have launched a new app called, well, I mean, there's the Rover app, of course, that's your channel, you can listen to all your radio stations, you know, The Edge, and you can go to My FM or The Rock, and now they've just launched Rover, like they've just updated the app, I guess. Mm-hmm. Rover 2.0 is what they're calling it. And so there's a feature on there now, you can listen to a whole bunch of like other shows, podcasts, and that sort of thing. Oh, Christ. What?
Bit of added feature.
Yeah. And so that's why I was like, well, I want to do my own podcast. And I sort of hit them up, said, who's making a podcast? And they said, no one. I was like, well, I'm going to be the first one. I've got a podcast idea. And because I was the first one that came forward and was like, I want to do this, Rover have been like, sweet, let's just grab that idea and run with it. And they've just promoted the shit out of it. And so I guess the freedom as well from going to radio to the podcast is that I've just got, I mean, there are no rules. I could, you know, one thing I find being on the radio is that I'm constantly, hang on, mate, just be with me. I'm constantly trying not to keep my mind that I can't swear. That's right. I can't say fuck, or I can't say shit. Can I? No. Or I can't say, you know, you're going to be careful about what you say to advertise about, you know, certain advertisers if you're promoting something. But on a podcast, you can just say whatever you want. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can, well, as long as you, of course, you can't drop a C-bomb, you know, but yeah, you can, I guess it's just a bit more freedom and you can just express yourself and there's no time limit of what you can say. Cause that's one of my other problems I find on the radio is that I talk too much. You might have discovered that now because I talk a lot. But I do. I love to chat. I do. I love to chat a lot. And I guess with a podcast, you can just go for gold and then let somebody edit it all down in the end. Hang on, I'm just going to see if the wife's still bloody, because this one's getting a bit grizzly. Might want a bit of milk. Hang on, mate. Daniela. Okay. She'll be back soon. Sorry, Ryan, mate.
No,
but yeah, that's essentially it. So you just got a bit more freedom, I guess, and just just anything goes. And the best part is too, it's not like you're recording it live. So if you do say something inappropriate, you know your producer's going to bloody cut it out, trim it out ananyway. You just take note of that sort of stuff. Because I have been caught out. I have been caught out saying the wrong thing on air live, and shit's nearly really hit the fan. Yeah. Just sort of bagging one of a company and then realising, those guys actually advertise quite heavily with MediaWorks. And I was like, oh, okay. Luckily, they are pretty good about it. Yeah. But anyway.
And so you've got the wee one there, and you said you got one more. What's it like being a dad, mate? I've had 16 months of a whirlwind. So what do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, how old's your one? 16 months, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've got an 18-month-old and this one, so we've got two very close together. I won't lie to you, we didn't plan for that to happen that way, but it has. But I guess we've completed our family now. I love being a dad; it's great. Yeah. It's very full on because you keep me on my toes. Like especially this last week, I've been I've been trying to. The doctors have said you make sure you rest up and just take it easy, and especially a few days after surgery, I was a bit like, ugh, and I'm still taking bloody heavy painkillers and stuff. But I just can't because there's two of them running around. Well, one of them running around going ape shit. This one makes a lot of noise. I can't leave my wife to do everything on her own. So there's no time to rest up. So it's all just go. But I find, as you'll find as well, once you just get into routine, you just do it. You know what I mean? And you sort of, there was always that fear beforehand, going, "Oh God, what's it going to be like when you have kids?" Because they feed you, "Oh, it's a life changer," and you'll have moments where you'll be so stressed you'll cry and all this sort of stuff. But to be honest, I think I'm pretty lucky with my wife Daniela, because she's a very relaxed and chilled person. So, she's chilled, then I'm chilled, and the whole ordeal's just been pretty. I mean, it's been busy. Don't get me wrong, really busy, but it's pretty. It is pretty. Once you just get into routine and just go with the flow, it's all good. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't get the bloody dishes done, or it doesn't matter if the house doesn't get as clean as you want it to get cleaned. You clean up the house, the kids are going to terrorise it and make it a mess in the end anyway. So, you just go with it, mate. But I love it. Otherwise, I love it. It's good. And you know what? I don't. Well, no, this is a lie. I miss sleeping, but it's okay.
Mate,
how are you finding it? Have you got a wee girl or a wee boy?
Wee girl, and on that note, she's just woken up, so I've been summoned. So we'll have to leave it there, mate. And this was fantastic, and thank you so much for multitasking there. And it was.
That's right. No, thank you very much. No, I've appreciated being on this, mate. Thank you very much. Hello, lovely to meet you.
This is Alex, the better half.
Hello, Alex, better half.
Righto.
You better go. Yeah, I know what you mean. Dad duty's cool, right? But no, thank you very much for having me. And I'll tell you what. You give me a plug, I'll give you a plug right back on old line. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll find you on the Rover app, and is it everywhere else as well?
Yes, it is. iTunes, Spotify as well. Just look up the Fuck Up Files. Also follow me on Instagram. Why not? Jim_Cawthorn.
Yes.
I'll get those numbers up.
Yeah.
And hunky dory.
Thanks, mate. Have a good evening, and hope the wee one goes to sleep and you get some too.
Yeah, we'll see. Dreams are free, mate. Hey, good on you, Ryan. Good chatting to you.
Catch you later, mate. Cheers.
It's been a good catch up.
Awesome,
Cheers, buddy.
Bro.